Hey guys, how's it going, and welcome to a little video I want to make about FIFA and EA as well as a corporation. I want to make this video for everyone in general, so even if you're not into FIFA and you kind of this video is mainly for people who are into FIFA, people who are getting into FIFA, and even people who don't like FIFA and really want to understand what the big deal about FIFA is and why people like us buy FIFA consistently year after year after year after year, even though it's pretty much the same game. Like, I'm looking at my shelf right now. I have bought every FIFA since FIFA 11. Oh no, sorry about that. I had FIFA 8, FIFA 08. Then I played that for 3 years and I got FIFA 11. Then I got 13 and then 14. FIFA 13, when I got my Xbox 360, was when I started to really push for the FIFAs, and ever since then, from FIFA 13 to FIFA 20, for 7 consecutive years, I've purchased FIFA on the day it came out, every single time without fail. And I'll explain to you first of all FIFA and just really get into it. If you know what FIFA is about, you play FIFA, you understand FIFA, skip to this time of the video if you don't want to hear the explanation of FIFA. So basically FIFA, as you know, is a game mode, or is a soccer game made by EA Sports, Electronic Arts, and this is kind of their first kind of franchise to start with. They started with FIFA, and then they went on to make NFL, or Madden, sorry, which is the NFL, American football, and then they went on and made Battlefield, and they made Star Wars, and went into Need for Speed, and all these kind of little things. They went into all these different genres after they had a nice foundation from FIFA. So it's an annual sports game, comes out or an annual soccer game, comes out every year, consistently, and what people have started to notice over the years is there's not a lot of change and difference between the games, and it's true. It's true. There's not much of a difference between the games, and the big question is, why do people buy them? Well, the main different features between a previous FIFA and a new FIFA is for the annual year that FIFA's out, for let's say that annual season that FIFA comes out. So for example, we'll say this year, for example, the soccer season this year is 2019-2020. For that August to May, August of 2019 and May of 2020, you know, teams will be in a certain division, and teams will have certain kits, and would say competitions have certain like different types of balls, and stadiums and all that stuff. They have all these things that are associated with the leagues, the logos even to the leagues, and the teams themselves. Once the new FIFA comes out for the next year, the old FIFA doesn't update kits, it doesn't update stadium, it doesn't update the teams that got relegated into a second division of a league, and it doesn't update the teams that went into the first division that were in the second division and got promoted into the first division. And the problem with that is people like realistic stuff. They like, even as sports in general, people like having the brand new jersey that comes out every a new jersey comes out every year in soccer. People want the brand new jersey every year, although it's not really a big deal. Like, no one that's a fan will look at you and go, "You're not a fan because you don't have the new jersey." It's like that with FIFA. They buy new FIFAs because they got the new jerseys, they got the new badges, they got the new all the teams are in order. They have new stadiums and stuff. At the end of the day, it doesn't change anything. Now, besides the club related kind of stuff, what FIFA do as well is they introduce maybe new leagues, like one or two little leagues that no one really pays much attention to. Like, they got rid of the Brazilian league a few years ago, and they brought in the Romanian league. Like, not really a huge deal. They brought in the third division of German football, but at the end of the day, not really a huge deal. And they brought in one or two features to have a reason to promote it. Like we'd say they brought in a new game mode from the two different FIFA. So you buy that game mode you buy that new FIFA for the new game mode, or for the new little things they've updated in the existing game modes, if that makes sense. And this is a huge problem, because if you look at any other game, you look at even GTA, you look at Call of Duty, you look at Forza, you look at any other gaming franchise, the game modes are kind of like the game modes in FIFA. They're not huge. They're not huge game modes that are like massive. Obviously, of course, they made huge game modes, but they've only introduced two major game modes in the last decade, and like that's it. It's only two. I'm not about major game modes. I'm major. That's it. Like every year they've made little slight game modes, or like little new features in game modes already existing. It's exactly like Call of Duty if they introduce a new DLC. It's a new thing. It's cool. It's new. It's good to the game. It brings more enjoyment to the game. But at the end of the day, it's a DLC. It's not a big deal, and it doesn't change the game like hugely. And that's exactly what FIFA is. Every new title that comes out with FIFA, all the new features in the FIFAs, all the new features in the new FIFAs, they're just basically DLCs. And we're paying €60 a year for a brand new, clean game that has one or two new features, which is basically a €60 DLC. That's it. It's a €60 DLC. That's all FIFA is. It's a €60 DLC every year. Now, there's one problem with sports games in particular, and how they bring them out annually. The problem with annual games is, if you want to make a game realistic and real, like a sports game, that has to be so specifically real. You can't tweak with it. You can't adjust it. You can't do anything with it. It has to be real. There's no fairy tale. There's none of this. It has to be real, because people expect it to be real, because it's sports and they follow it in real life and they want to play it and experience what it would be like to do all these stuff, to be a player, to be a manager of a big club and take your team to this, like reality. And the problem with that is, reality, you've got nothing to work with. If you're bringing out a game every year, there's not much that'll change in a year from a sporting perspective. There's not much that'll change in a year, and you have to try and change it like drastically, and you won't be able to. And that's what FIFA do. FIFA know about this, and even with Madden, even with all the different other sports games that are out there, even with Formula One, all these like sports race games that are real and have real people in real life. Not with Forza, because Forza just has new cars. You can the players are randomly made up and all that stuff. The same thing with Need for Speeds. They can it's completely fiction. The storyline is completely fiction. But with sports games, you can't make it fiction. You can make a game mode that's fiction, but at the end of the day, people, when they buy a sports game in particular, or a motorsport game, they want to experience, they want to try and have the experience that their favorite player, their favorite racer, their favorite driver has in real life, on a virtual reality game, which, if we'd even call it that. And it's hard to tweak with reality, because you have to make it perfectly like reality. And if you don't do it, people will criticize you. And this is the problem with EA, because they don't have enough to tweak with. And the big, huge issue with people complaining about this is, if EA give you everything, EA gave you all the features that everyone wanted, and there was so much features in the game, everything was great, a brand new tournament events in FIFA. They'll have nothing next year. If you make something perfect, you're not going to ask for anything else if it's perfect. And that's exactly, FIFA know this. And I'm pretty sure they know this. FIFA's projects, they have game modes lined up for FIFA 28, 23, 24. I can guarantee it right now. And they're not releasing them all at once. It's because they're going to oversaturate one game, and then you're going to have to beat the game. The whole point of anything is you bring out something, you bring out a game, you bring out a movie. The whole purpose of the next one is to make it bigger and better. And if you bring all the features in FIFA, you can't make it bigger and better, because if there's nothing they want, you can't make it bigger, because everyone still thinks it's the biggest. You can't do anything about it, and that's why FIFA bring out little game modes every single year, because you can't bring out all these game modes all at once, because they'll have nothing to work with then in the next years, and they'll just run out of content. It's simple as that. But if you space them out, they'll have a lot more time to think of new content, a lot more time to look at feedback and actually bring in content and pretend that they're, bringing it in because people asked for it. Community things, like for example when this year or I think it was last year I believe, they let the community pick the team of the year for Ultimate Team, and they're trying to pretend, oh yeah, we're getting back on our fans. Our fans can vote for the players, we won't vote for them. Kind of, trying to pretend that they care about the customers, but in reality they don't. They have no competition, and they're not losing money. They're making millions, billions. They're making billions annually. They're not going to care if you're making $1 billion every year. Why would you care if it's bad or not? If you're making money, why bother? Why bother put the extra effort, the extra amount of money into producing and developing? When, if you don't do it, you'll still make loads of money. Yeah, people might do it to make more money, but I mean, I'm pretty sure $1 billion is decent enough to not even bother do anything. Like, why put in work when you just get a load of money for barely doing any work? And that's a huge problem. Like, I saw a thing here, 28% of EA's revenue comes from Ultimate Team alone. That's why they put so much effort into Ultimate Team. They really put a lot of effort into Ultimate Team, and they don't care about the rest of the game modes. Why? Because annually, they have 28, nearly over a quarter of EA revenue comes from people buying FIFA points. That's it. A quarter. That's like 200 million a year in FIFA points alone. No help from Madden, no help from Need for Speed, no help from any other game, no help from Battlefield, no help from Star Wars. Just that game mode in FIFA. So obviously they're going to put a lot of effort into that and change it up a bit, and they completely forget about the rest of FIFA. And that's where people get mad and people aren't happy with it, because at the end of the day, people buy FIFA for Ultimate Team, and they're constantly changing Ultimate Team, constantly making it better. So what's the point? If they're making a load of money off it, why would they bother try and revive a game mode that kind of lost popularity, but still has a small little community of probably a couple of million that really love career mode, and the rest of them Ultimate Team? There's no point. There's no point satisfying them, because instead of focusing on satisfying a little majority of people, you can focus on satisfying a lot of people even more than they already are satisfied. And that's basically it. To wrap this video up, FIFA can't put in a load of new game modes because they only have a certain amount of ideas. There's only a certain amount of things you can do, and obviously they're constantly changing and growing. And their biggest problem is if they put in way too much features in one game, they'll run out of features for the next game. And unless FIFA make a FIFA every 5 years and then change the kits, change the stadiums up to date in real life, that's the only way they'll solve it. Just like GTA do. How GTA is still relevant because they keep playing for years and years and years. But EA like money, and they're not going to stop. making annual sports games, and people are not stop buying them. They're in the top 10. FIFA's in the top 10 every single year in sales, guaranteed. Like, look at this. Every single year they've come within the top 10 range, even coming in the top 5 in a couple of years. All the time. They're not gonna put more effort into it when they're doing these numbers. They're too brilliant to stop. Why would you? There's no point in putting too much effort into something if you're just gonna make a couple of more million when you can just make a load of million without doing anything. And just before I leave, the developers and everyone who makes games in general, it's an extremely hard job to do, extremely stressful. Making animated games, making them, the physics, all this stupidly like intelligent, like artificial intelligence stuff with all these video games in general is fucking amazing. And there's literally no, like, the developers are fucking so good at their job to make these games, to make them so, like, it's so stupid to think how good these games are, how much attention to detail they put into all these games. Not just in FIFA, in general, every game. How much precision they put into it, how hard they work. They deserve all the money. The problem is the people that are higher up than the developers, the people who just sit down in EA's office and just wait for a paycheck and don't really have much involvement in the game besides maybe promoting it because they're the CEO, or just making sure developers are doing their work, but not actually listening to the community and really trying to make it a better game. And my biggest example of this is them being lazy is we have no 2018 World Cup game. Every single year since 1988, every World Cup year, we have got a different game. And we have FIFA, then we have the FIFA World Cup of that year. So 1998, 2002, 2006, 2010, 2014, and 2018. We don't have one 2018. And why? We need it because you can do so much with it. Those World Cup games are so different from normal FIFA. It changes the whole thing. It makes it a brand new game. You can really do everything with it. And you not making one just shows you being lazy and you're just not putting in the effort. Just a side note there, as a Real Madrid fan, that's kind of hard to see. Barcelona winning the Champions League final. I've only witnessed Barcelona winning the Champions League twice, so in my lifetime, so it's not that bad considering we won it like 4 times. It's grand. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to break down why EA are not going to stop doing it. They're just making too much money and they don't want to oversaturate games. And yeah, that's basically it. Like, that's why FIFA will never stop. And we clearly, as a community, we're not going to stop buying them because they always hit the top 10 and they're not declining one bit. If anything, it's growing. All this free publicity they're getting is just growing and growing and growing them. So, why change the game? And that's basically it. That's why FIFA will never change their games. They've no competition. There's just, they don't see any point in it because they're making billions annually, and there's no point in changing them whatsoever. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you later.